Welcome to another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wassman here. It is officially draft week, so we're giving you guys our final 2025 NFL mock draft ahead of the draft this Thursday night. Dalton, we finally made it to draft week. It's been months upon months of preparation for draft week, and now we're finally here, and we're about 3 days away from the draft, and I still have no idea what's going to happen on Thursday night.
Beyond the first two picks, this is as unpredictable a draft, it feels like, as I can remember in a while. It feels like we know what the first two are. We will get to those first two. But you know what? For this last one, we're always going head to head. We're always arguing about things. We might argue about something, and we're doing odds. And let's work this one together. You think? And we'll try to put together an obviously 100% accurate mock draft. Maybe we'll get help from the producers, maybe from the chat as well. I know we got some guys in the chat with a favorite team that they really want certain guys. Let's just put it all together, because I really believe after the first two picks, we at this point, there's so many conflicting reports. We don't really know what's going to happen from the third pick and onward. So let's have some fun with it.
We're doing a collab mock draft. We're doing this basically how we think it's going to happen Thursday night. We're not doing what we would do as general managers of every team. We're doing predictive mock draft what's going to happen Thursday night. So if you're a fan of a team in the chat and we have no idea what we're going to do for your team, let us know in the chat below what you think your team's going to be doing on draft night. I want to make this as accurate as possible for you guys. Before we get to that, we got some breaking news right now. PFF Plus is now 25% off for a limited time. If you're not familiar, PFF Plus gives you access to things like the 2025 NFL Draft Guide, which includes reports on hundreds of your favorite college prospects and how they might fit in the NFL. Dawn and I both worked in that draft guide alongside Trevor Sycamore and some other very talented analysts here at PFF. So go check out that draft guide. PFF Plus also gives you access to tools and insights trusted by all 32 teams in the NFL and every FBS team in college football as well. Use them to get ahead of betting trends, manage your fantasy teams, or just become a smarter fan overall. I could not recommend it enough. Go get PFF Plus now at subscribe.pff.com and use the code DRAFT25. Again, DRAFT25 for 25% off a PFF Plus subscription. Again, this will not last very long, so go take advantage of it right now at subscribe.pff.com with the promo code DRAFT25 for 25% off, the best subscription you can make as a football fan. With a PFF subscription, you get access to a full mock draft simulator, which we'll pull up right now for this mock draft. We're only going to be doing one round in this mock draft, but you can do a full 7-round mock draft if you want to. And Trevor and Connor just did a full 7-rounder using the PFF mock draft simulator over on NFL Stock Exchange. Go check that out. They're awesome. But let's start this mock draft right now, Dawn. And again, we're working this together. It's going to be Cam Ward.
Do we need more than 5 seconds with this?
No, this is pretty much locked in.
Does anyone out there need us to elaborate about Cam Ward going to the Titans? Because it's locked in.
Yeah.
We're just if you are starting a mock draft with something other than this, you're doing it wrong. And Cam Ward will be a Tennessee Titan come Thursday.
He's so much a Tennessee Titan that he's going on Fortnite and saying that Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are two of the top 4 running backs in the NFL. He's saying Treylon Burks and Calvin Ridley are 2 of the 4 best receivers in the NFL. He's saying Brian Callahan is the best coach in the NFL. He is an A-plus teammate already. So if you have that sort of delusion already, you know that you're a Tennessee Titan. So I think Cam Ward absolutely is a Tennessee Titan number 1 overall. I feel like Tyler's Browns here at number 2 overall, pretty much zeroing in on a player too. I think it's going to be Travis Hunter.
It sure seems like it's going to be with a lot of Andrew Berry's recent comments. And look, especially we've gone back to the Combine and heard Andrew Berry talk about he thinks Hunter is primarily a receiver, though he could still get some run both ways. He views Hunter as a rare athlete. He's even mentioned your comparison of the Shohei Ohtani first of college football and now possibly of the NFL. We'll see how much the two-way factor plays into that, but it does feel like after there was a stretch where there was a thought about quarterbacks and there was some thought about pairing Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett, it's going to be Travis Hunter. He's just such a rare athlete. It's hard to pass on a player like this. If he can, you've run through some of the numbers. I was looking at this last week. If he can have that level of impact where he's one of the best corners in football or he's one of the best receivers in football, when you look at it as far as wins above replacement, he could be as valuable as a lower-end starting quarterback, which is incredible because the top of the WAR leaderboards are pretty much just reserved for quarterbacks as they have the football every single play. If Hunter has any impact both ways, he could be just an incredible prospect. And even then, there's people who believe he's just the best receiver in this draft, and they could use a number one receiver.
Corner and wide receiver after quarterback are two of the most valuable positions in the NFL. So if you're getting a corner and a wide receiver and a very good one at that in Travis Hunter, he absolutely is going to become probably the most valuable non-quarterback in the NFL, and he could be up there, like Dalton said, with some of the lower-end quarterbacks in the NFL too, which is saying a lot considering quarterback, according to our calculations, is 4 times more valuable than any other position in the sport. So Travis Hunter goes number 2 overall. This is where I think it gets interesting, Dalton. So number 3 overall, Abdul Carter, currently at DraftKings, is minus 550 to go number 3 overall. I do think it would be the number 3 overall pick. However, this might be a spot for New York to trade down because one of the few positions they don't need in the draft, and they need a lot on this team, but they have Brian Burns, they have Kayvon Thibodeau. I know Thibodeau's been a little disappointing so far in his career, but I think if you're the Giants here, you should be looking to trade back, acquire more capital, and I think a team could get pretty desperate to move up to number 3. I think Carolina number 8 could be one of them.
I think, we both came into this thinking about a trade down scenario for the Giants. And really, this is the part where, yes, we're trying to go predictive with this, and certain parts of it will be, but also from this point on, it's incredibly unpredictable. And I think you're right. Carter should be considered the heavy favorite to go 3rd. Just don't know if it'll be the Giants. So let's do that. Let's put together. Last week, Trevor had put together a scenario where the 49ers traded up from 11. I actually think this trade would benefit the Giants more, and we'll get to that reason in a little bit. But let's put it together. What do we think it's going to take for the Panthers to get from 8 to 3 here?
If it was Carolina, it would have to be probably, let's see, what did we say before? We said so 8, obviously. Would it be 74 and then what was a second-round pick next year is what we decided on?
If we think that would be enough, maybe the Giants are holding it at a premium depending on what sort of bidding war could ensue here. But if it was pick 74 and a second-round pick next year, I think Carolina would still get to keep their second-round pick or the second-round pick they have from the Rams this year, so it's not too much of a gap in where they're drafting. They're giving up a second-round pick next year, but they need this type of player. They need an Abdul Carter to just completely change the look of their pass rush because they tried to get Milton Williams. They didn't wind up getting that level of impact pass rusher in free agency, and it just feels like Carolina, they need one more superstar, and Carter can be that superstar while the Giants get a decent amount of capital, get a 3rd rounder, get a 2nd rounder next year, and still are maybe in pretty good position to do what they want at number 8, and we'll see where that goes. But I'd say we pull the trigger on it. Let's get it. We haven't had a scenario yet where Carolina gets to this pick, so let's do it.
Yeah, and of course, there are no trades so far in the draft. This is actually be the first draft ever where there will not be a traded first-round pick entering the draft. There will be some trades, I think, that will happen on draft. In fact, there have been 24 straight drafts where a top 15 pick has been traded. This is where I think one of them will happen right here. So I think Carolina moving up to number 3 overall, and of course taking Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State. Carter would fill a massive void left behind by Brian Burns, ironically, after trading him to the Giants. Abdul Carter has been an incredible pass rusher at Penn State, was the most valuable edge in the nation this past year, according to a wins above average metric, in his first year playing edge defender as well. So Abdul Carter going number 3 to the Panthers, number 4 to the Patriots. This one seems pretty obvious, Dawn, and right now in the betting odds, Will Campbell's almost minus 400 to be the pick at number 4. And with Mike Vrabel thinking he is a left tackle in the NFL, I think he's going to be taking Will Campbell here.
I think that's a big part of it, too, with predicting this pick, and it's gotten easier. As we assume that Hunter and Carter will be off the board, and obviously New England would go with one of those two if they were there, but I think we've heard Mike Vrabel talk more glowingly about Will Campbell than anybody else in the NFL, any coach, any front office person. There's been debate from some as to whether Campbell's even the best offensive lineman in this draft, but it seems to not be much of a debate from Mike Vrabel. So it would be surprising if they turned around and took, say, maybe an Armand Membu and they just threw us the biggest smokescreen for the last month and a half. But I think from what we've heard Vrabel say about Campbell and his belief in his ability to play left tackle, which is the Patriots' biggest need right now, I do think also this will be the pick.
Absolutely. Yep. Will Campbell going number 4 overall to the Patriots. Number 5 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of smoke about Ashton Jeanty going to Jacksonville, but I think you and I both agree here is probably still going to be Mason Graham.
I think the pick should be Mason Graham.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. I think he's one of the best 4 players in the draft. I know there's noise, lately about are they a wild card? Is it Jeanty? Could it be Jalen Walker? Where are we going with this? But I just see it's this entire process through the offseason where they've signed some pieces in their secondary, right? They've signed some pieces on their offensive line, so maybe that takes a Will Campbell or Membu, somebody like that, off the board. They've gotten some veterans. they didn't sign a single defensive tackle. And this was a bottom 5 defensive tackle group in the league last year and second worst in pass rush grade. Mason Graham, for as much as this is a very, very stacked defensive tackle class, he's the best one. It's not even a question. Led the nation in run defense grade. I believe his pass rush grade was 81.3. He just has it. And I know there's concerns about length and everything like that, but I think this is the perfect player to fill out this front 7. I would not be looking anywhere else other than Mason Graham if I was Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Mason Graham makes, the most sense for Jacksonville here at number 5 overall. And, they have Travis Etienne. I'm not saying he's a better player than Ashton Jeanty is even right now. But if you take Ashton Jeanty, then you got to trade Travis Etienne too. I just think Mason Graham fits a bigger need for Jacksonville at number 5 overall, and he's worth a pick in the top 5 too, which is why I think this is still a home run pick for Jacksonville number 5. Number 6 is the Las Vegas Raiders. Ashton Jeanty currently has minus odds to be the number 6 overall pick. Now, I think they should be considering Ted McMillan here, but Dalton, Ted McMillan is plus 2,000 to go number 6 overall. So I'm not sure he's really in the running right now.
That I don't understand that at all. And I think there's just this general feeling that for as high as McMillan is on some boards, he's number 4 on ours. I think he's around number 11 or 12 on consensus. There's been this feeling that he's going to slide somewhere where he really shouldn't.
Do you want to hear the players ahead of him and the odds?
Sure, absolutely.
You got Armand Membu next after Jeanty, Jalen Walker, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Calvin Banks Jr., even still Shedeur Sanders, and then Tedero McMillan.
At this point, the Raiders are another team, and I thought maybe we were starting to really lock in on this was going to be Jeanty or McMillan, and it appears it's not going to be McMillan, and Membu's been getting noise lately, like you mentioned. Maybe they need a linebacker. They think Jalen Walker's that guy. It's unpredictable. I could see the case for several things as far as making their team better. I just don't understand why McMillan's that low in the odds. I think it'd be perfect for them.
So do I. I think it should be between Jeanty and McMillan, but I think at this rate, if we're making a predictive mock draft, I think you have to take Jeanty right now to the Raiders. I think, obviously Pete Carroll, what he did with Marshawn Lynch back in the day in Seattle was fantastic. Jeanty is one of the best running back prospects we've seen in PFF history. Honestly, a 99.9 career rushing grade for Ashton Jeanty. He smashed the yards after contact record held by Jonathan Taylor. He smashed the broken tackles record held by Bijan Robinson. He is a fantastic talent and a great receiver as well, even though wouldn't really show that much this past year. I think Jeanty, number 6 overall to the Raiders, is the most likely pick right now. All right, number 7, the New York Jets are on the clock. What do you think your New York Jets are probably going to do?
That's always the question of the day, isn't it? Look, I think there should be a lot of options on the board. You know me, I would still think about Shedeur Sanders. They're not going to do that. They're not going to take a quarterback first round. I think they should think about Tedero McMillan for the same reasons as the Raiders. It just feels like they're not going to do that. At the end of the day, this pick still most likely comes down to Armand Membu or Tyler Warren. Yep. I would probably lean Warren if it was me. Most of the noise seems to be around Membu as the plug-and-play right tackle who can complete this offensive line. That's the one spot where they're kind of weak right now. It's where Armand Membu obviously played at Missouri. He's the best right tackle in this draft. So I think at this point, if we're going somewhat predictive, and it's obviously hard as we get deeper into this, but it feels like the momentum is all towards Membu to the Jets to complete the offensive line.
Membu is plus 150 to go number 7. Tyler Warren is plus 275, and then next up is Calvin Banks at plus 550. Calvin Banks moving up the odds recently.
There's been recent reports that we've been thinking this the whole time that he's going to go top 15. It looks like he's going to – and I kept saying this with Banks. I mean, everybody had him going in the 20s, and not that he's going here to 7 to the Jets, but when you have the Saints, Niners, Cowboys, Dolphins, Cardinals all sitting in the top 16.
Cincinnati even can even use him as guard.
Even Cincy, if he were to get there. I don't know that he would get by all those teams. Calvin Banks, I'm pretty sure, is going to go top 16. I just think with all the talk and the natural right tackle fit,
Membu's going
Membu with the Jets, we're going to get some other team here taking Calvin Banks.
I just thought it was interesting that he's 3rd in the odds to go number 7 overall. But I'm with you. So you want to go, because I'll leave it up to you here, but I would lean Membu.
I think it's most likely to be Membu right now. Yeah. We'll stick with that for now.
What a nasty O-line that would be if they get Membu there, with Olu Fashioner there, Joe Tippmann there, as well.
Elijah you'll see a lot of running the football with Hall and Allen and Fields. Yeah, they're going to be running running the football a whole lot in the green and white in New York next year.
All right, so number 8 overall now used to be held by Carolina, but they traded up to get Abdul Carter. So now we have the Giants on the clock here at number 8. If this actually happened on draft night, Dawn, the board fell this way, what do you think the Giants would do?
I think this is the moment where trading down to 8 with Carolina benefits the Giants the most, because who do we see at number 9? The New Orleans Saints. Mm-hmm. I'm still in the boat that the Giants should probably, if they can do this, find some way to get Shedeur Sanders. They can start Russell Wilson early on. They have Jameis Winston. That's fine. I think this is a spot where I would do it. Take Sanders. Have that long-term solution in place. You got an extra third this year and an extra second next year, kind of a mutually beneficial trade here with Carolina. And that's the big thing, is staying ahead of the Saints. Live bettors would go crazy for this, by the way, if the Giants stayed ahead of the Saints. And the Saints, all of a sudden they'd be a little worried about this situation. Because, I mean, honestly, okay, so let's be real. Let's just say for a moment you wouldn't be locking in Sanders here. Just for a second, who else would this be? I don't know who else this would be. Anyway, Walter Nolan's the one guy that sticks out to me.
Walter Nolan. Oh, we took Will Campbell already. Maybe they go Calvin Banks.
Maybe Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
but
maybe Tyler Warren.
I think if there was a real emphasis on trading with Carolina and staying ahead of the Saints, I'm not doing it for Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for Walter Nolan. I can find D-tackle later. There's depth in this. They drafted Theo Johnson last year. It's Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
If you make this exact trade, you're doing it with the intent of staying ahead of the Saints. And you still get the benefit. You got the 74th overall pick this year if you want a D-tackle.
Yeah.
If you want another tight end, if you want a receiver, let's do it. Let's still get, despite all the noise around it, let's still get Shedeur Sanders to the Giants.
Apparently, the Giants are still very interested in Shedeur Sanders too. So you called it earlier when they signed Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. I was a little pessimistic about them still taking him, but a lot of reports still saying that the Giants are still interested in Shedeur Sanders. So we'll do that number 8 overall. That's why kind of Donnie was shouting out the Bears for trading up to number 3. If you trade the Bears, though, the Saints could still grab Shedeur before you do. So if you get to number 8, though, with Carolina, who's also desperate for an edge rusher, then it works out for you and that you can get ahead of the Saints at number 8. Here at number 9, Dalton, we have heard a lot of smoke around Jackson Dart to New Orleans. Do you think it'll happen here at number 9, or do you think they'll probably go with someone else, like, say, a Tyler Warren, maybe even Shamar Stewart or Calvin Banks, something like that? I'm in between on this right now, because right now Warren is plus 700 to go number 9, and Dart is plus 750 to go number 9. I'm between those two right there.
It's just so gutsy with Dart. I mean, I wouldn't take him top 10. I think we could wait. We can figure out how the rest of this unfolds, but I just don't think you can take him straight up at 9 when you could get a premier player like a Kelvin Banks, a Walter Nolan, something in the trenches, because they're so bad in the trenches. Maybe even a Mike Green going this high. Maybe it is Tyler Warren at tight end, even though they just signed Juwan Johnson back to a 3-year deal. So I don't know that even necessarily they would go tight end. If this was me, again, maybe do you trade down? Do we have a trade down spot here? Like the Dolphins or somebody coming up to get Kelvin Banks?
Yeah.
Is it what is it, even the Niners just 2 spots maybe coming to get Kelvin Banks just in case they think the Bears would do it? I mean, this is really tough. This is a tough spot for the Saints, because now for a couple weeks we've been assuming it's quarterback.
Okay, how about this? Current betting favorite to go number 10 overall is Tyler Warren. Does the Colts get desperate here?
We're going Indianapolis. Are we just going to get wild on trades now? Is this what we're going to do?
Do you think the Colts would get desperate and say, you know what, let's get ahead of Chicago?
I see no reason to get desperate, because I also still wouldn't even guarantee they take tight end at 14. I wouldn't guarantee it.
What do you think they do then?
It could be a linebacker, it could be a Jahad Campbell, it could be a Malachi Starks. It's still, I mean, they got options.
They have options. I think they're going to probably take one of the 2 guys at 14 or above, or even higher if they go with that.
My thought more so is about Kelvin Banks and who maybe gets in an arms race
ahead of
San Fran, Miami, even Dallas, because Membu and Campbell are already gone.
Could see that.
I would think if there's a trade, but then who am I to sit here and say the Saints just don't take Kelvin Banks? Why wouldn't they?
Okay, so I'm looking at Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter said that he thinks that New Orleans has Dart higher than Sanders on their big board. He said they're hot and heavy on Dart right now. So I think they're going to take Dart. I don't know about here at 9, but if they could trade down and still take him at, 13 or something like that, if they want to do that. This is tough. This one's really hard.
This is hard. Nah, let's go trenches. I think Kelvin Banks or Walter Nolan. I think that's where I'd
For
go.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
I'd probably lean Kelvin Banks.
Kelvin Banks, we'll get them. We're going to move Fuaga maybe to the right side or Banks to the right
Yeah.
side. They're just so bad. I mean, even if they take a quarterback this early and they're the worst pass blocking team in the league last year.
Yeah.
Let's go Kelvin Banks.
All right, I'll do Kelvin Banks.
Let's do it. Kelvin Banks?
Kelvin Banks.
It intrigues me a lot with these 3 tackles how quick they're going to go. Because I think this is a real scenario. But I think they're all going to be gone by no later than 16. There's going to be a run on them. And we might, that type of trade talk for these offensive tackles is something we really might see. I'm fascinated with all 3 of them.
I think they're going to take Dart. I mean, all right, we'll do Kelvin Banks for now.
Maybe we'll figure it out later. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Well, you got to get Pittsburgh probably.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Chicago, I think this is where Tyler Warren goes.
It sure feels like it.
I feel like they'll take Tyler Warren
if the Jets don't do it,
yeah,
all of a sudden it's just let's get this 12 personnel with Komet.
They really want Ginty. If he's not there, I think they would go Tyler Warren over an edge rusher, even though edge is another need for them.
Him and Komet and that 12 personnel and everything Ben Johnson wants to do running the football. I mean, you talk about not only did you redo the whole offensive line inside, now you've got Cole Komet and Tyler Warren both blocking for you. I get it. And the idea of all the things that the Lions did with Sam Laporta in Detroit, too.
Yep.
All right, fine.
All right, we'll do it. Tyler Warren.
Deal.
Number 11 overall, the San Francisco 49ers now on the clock.
Well, see, this is a team now that has it a little rough because these 3 tackles are gone.
Yep.
So now I immediately pivot to defense. And I think about corner. I think about D-line. Here's one question for this one, because I do think this is someone Robert Saleh would gravitate towards. How high is Shamar Stewart going?
I think he goes.
Is he going to San Fran at 11?
I think he goes top 20. I don't know if he goes 11.
I
think he might go with Will Johnson over
Robert. To me, I think Robert Saleh is the type of he's the type of guy that would love that big prototype built defensive end like Stewart. Because I feel like when we've done mocks, and even when I've done mocks with Trevor, that Stewart's dropping too far. And maybe he's, because of the combine and because of the tools, somebody's going to take this gamble. And they need help on the D-line anyway.
No, the D-line's their biggest need, I would say, because they don't have much outside Nick Bosa. So I don't think Walter Nolan's going this high, even though we have him very high on the big board.
I think Shamar Stewart, just because of the tools alone, could get this high.
I think Mikel might go above him.
But I think Saleh would. I think Stewart is more of his guy than Mikel is. He likes those. He wants to get in a 4-man front. He wants those classic defensive ends.
No, that's what Mikel Williams is, though, too.
He's weird. He feels like more of a tweener to me.
Yeah.
Unless he feels the projection of if I move Mikel out there.
I'm still looking at Will Johnson, though, too, because they need a corner. I'll stick to D-line, but I do think Will Johnson's very much in play for Robert Saleh.
It's reasonable, too.
All right, we can go with Shamar Stewart. That's fine.
This
is higher than I think he's going to go. But.
I don't know. Somebody's going to take a gamble on the tools and early. And I think Robert Saleh could see Shamar Stewart as that just classic, and especially with what he can do in run defense, classic lengthy defense, 4-3 defensive end, put him out there in that wide 9 like he didn't get to play a ton at Texas, Texas A&M, I should say, sorry. That just feels like something that they might think about there.
All right, let's do it. We'll do Shamar Stewart. Cowboys, Ted McMillan. I think this is almost a lock now. If he's there at number 12.
We're up to almost 59% of people in the mock draft sim taking receiver for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, listen, they need something else besides CeeDee Lamb in that receiving core right now. So I think if he's there at number 12 overall, that'd be a steal. And listen, that's how they got CeeDee Lamb too. They do need a receiver this year. But back in 2020, they didn't really need a receiver that year. CeeDee Lamb fell into their lap there, and they took him, and it worked out beautifully. You could get another steal here in Ted McMillan, who I think is a top 5 player in this draft, and you're getting him at number 12 overall. So I think it's a home run pick for Dallas.
The one question is if it will actually be McMillan.
I think it will be. I think he's going to be the first. Besides Hunter, I think he'll be the first receiver.
Listen, we've seen enough mocks where McMillan drops in the 20 and Golden and/or Ibuka goes ahead of him. I'm with you. We'll take McMillan here because that's what it should be.
I don't know if Ibuka goes in the first round.
There's been reports that front offices love him.
Yeah, I think Golden I could see only because Jerry loves those Southern guys. He loves guys in the state of Texas and all that. He has a penchant for that.
It should be McMillan. I'm just saying, I at this point with all the rumors we've heard, I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of the other ones.
McMillan's going above him there. Jay Thomas in the chat, I think is completely dead on at number 13 overall. I think this is a corner for Miami here.
I believe so too.
With Jalen Ramsey.
This I believe
on his way out. Yeah.
I firmly believe this is Will Johnson.
Yeah, I would say Will Johnson too. He says Barron because he thinks they give him nice versatility because they're a little messy at safety right now. But I think Will Johnson's going above Jahdae Barron.
I think they could attack safety later on, and Barron. It just feels like Will Johnson is the right guy to reset this if they're gonna. He's got the size, he's got he's got that Patrick Surtain sort of build where he can give you man or zone and do it whichever way. I think as long as teams feel good about his health, kind of the nagging injuries. I right now I wonder if he is. Do you have a betting favorite on that with Miami?
No, the top 10 picks only have odds.
I wonder what the over under on Will Johnson at this point is, and if it is
actually no, I might be able to get Will Johnson odds. Hold on.
If it would be this pick right here, because I think I'm with you between what Chris Greer said and his faith in Patrick Paul at left tackle, and the fact that they're trying to trade Jalen Ramsey. Mm-hmm. It just feels they have to rebuild it. Without Ramsey, this is probably the worst secondary in football right now.
Yeah.
They're just so thin, and they need a player to reset it. Will Johnson could be that guy. I'm in on that.
Yeah. Donnie's saying they do love Calvin. Calvin makes it off the board, though, unfortunately, Donnie. Number 9 overall. So I think this is Will Johnson here, especially with them needing help in that secondary now. With Javon Holland gone, potentially with Jalen Ramsey gone too, get Will Johnson, who they still think is a blue-chip talent, or at least close to it in this draft. Number 14 overall, the Indianapolis Colts. I still think this is Colston Loveland here. I still think so. I think they're going to take a tight end in this draft.
I do, but this is a deep-ish tight end class. And Loveland's probably the most likely pick. But I will not be shocked at all if it's Starks. I will not be shocked at all if it's Jahad Campbell. I will not be shocked at all if it's Jahdae Barron. I think they don't necessarily have to lock themselves into this. And they can improve all those positions later on. But I think tight end, like if they came out with somebody in the second round, like an Elijah Arroyo or a Mason Taylor or somebody, I think they would feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Right? I could see them not passing up on, because they have a need at linebacker. They need someone next to Zaire Franklin at linebacker. I think they could use another safety next to Cam Bynum. I think Jahdae Barron would help them a lot. Wouldn't even shock me if another pass rusher, if they liked one of them enough. I don't think this is as locked in. I think Loveland's probably the favorite, but I don't think it's as locked in as everybody thinks.
I think it's going to be Loveland. I think Shane Steichen is so desperate to figure out whether or not they got to reset a quarterback with Anthony Richardson, and he might even win that job because Daniel Jones is there now too. But I think that you just need to figure it out. And if you take a guy like Colston Loveland, great receiving core already, pretty good offensive line already too. I mean, Anthony Richardson has zero excuses the next year if it doesn't work out. So I think to take Colston Loveland here, and that's kind of the final straw for Anthony Richardson and whether or not he can be a franchise quarterback for Indy.
At that point, they would be loaded. I mean, Pittman, Pierce, Downs, Mitchell from last year. All of a sudden now you have Loveland. I would get one more receiving back later in this draft. I mean, you'd be absolutely loaded if you took Colston Loveland, and that's the idea, obviously, right? But I don't think that's by any means 100% set in stone. I think it's very possible.
No, there's definitely options, but I would be surprised if they don't take one of the tight ends at 14.
Agreed.
All right, 15 overall. I'm going to advocate for Jalen Walker here. I don't know if he gets much further than this.
Oh, we didn't get Walker off too because we got Carter to Carolina, and we've been. Yeah, I don't think it's the pick I would make personally.
Neither would I. No, but I think Mike Green would be much better fit there.
I do. I'll tell you what. I forgot about that with that last pick with the Colts. That could have been Jalen Walker also.
Could be, yeah. That could be, because they do need to help at edge and linebacker.
That could have been Jalen Walker. Yeah, okay, I'm in on this.
Yeah, Jalen Walker. Yeah. I think he's going to go.
It makes sense. Actually, I almost wonder if we should have. We're not restarting now, that's for sure. Don't worry, Tyler. I'm with you. Could have been the Colts. Could have maybe even been the Niners.
Low moving cost, though. Atlanta.
Say again?
Low moving cost. So
true. Yeah. Playing in that dome, SEC title.
All right.
Yeah. Good
16 overall. Donnie, help us out here. What do we think for Arizona at number 16 overall?
You know my stance on this.
Corner.
Jahdae Barron. I think Jahdae Barron's perfect. Let's see let's just let Donnie make the pick. Let's just see where it shakes out. We're past the predictive.
Donnie's got a theory. He said I think he's typing it out right now.
Theory? Is it a trade down theory?
You know what, Donnie? Before you get to your theory, and I'll let you type it out right now. Let's get to our sponsor of the show, and that is Fabric by Gerber Life. What does your child's future success look like to you? A job they're passionate about, traveling around the world, or just being happy and comfortable. Whatever their journey, you got to make it easier to achieve with a kid's investment account from Fabric by Gerber Life. By making contribution to your child's future today, you can give them the means to pursue their dreams, big and small. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kid's investment account from Fabric, you can start investing in your child's future today. Kids can't invest when they're minors, but a kid's investment account allows you to invest on their behalf now, giving their investments more time to grow. It's all online, and setting an account can take you just 5 minutes. Then you can manage your child's account and monitor their investments right from your phone. Funds can be used for nearly anything benefiting your child, from tuition and tutors to music classes. And when they're adults and out on their own, they can use the funds for anything that they need. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect the family. Start investing in your child today at meetfabric.com/PFFcollege. That's meetfabric.com/PFFcollege. meetfabric.com/PFFcollege. Portfolios managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Clearing Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. Learn more at meetfabric.com. All right, let's see what Donnie says. For number 16 overall, Donnie thinks if it falls like this, I've heard rumors that Monty Austin Fort wants to trade down, and I think Buffalo could trade up with Arizona to get the 2 second-rounders they have and trade up to get Barron. He said if they stay, though, he thinks they're going to take Walter Nolan at 16 overall.
I'm in on that trade. Let's
Buffalo?
do it. Let's make that trade happen.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in on this. Because you know what? This is the exact scenario I've been talking about with the Bills. I want them to trade up to get a star. Okay. I really think they need a star. I don't think they should wait. If there's someone they like within range, let's do it. Let's get the Bills on the clock.
All right, Donnie. Love that.
I'm in on this. I'm so in on this.
What a contribution from Donnie here.
Okay. Do you have a value chart just to figure out where we might get to here?
Yeah, let me get it up right now.
It's going to cost at least one of these second round picks. Let's start it with 30 and 56 for sure.
Okay. So we have
the Bills have like 1 million day 3 picks too.
Let's see.
How close does it's not obviously enough, but 30 and 56, how close does that get me? How much more do I need?
56 is 90. 30 is 196, and what is it, 3? So,
are you doing the math on it?
286, it's pretty close.
30 and 56 for 16?
Is 196 and plus 98. Sorry, I'm doing quick math right now.
294?
Yeah.
I got that part. That's why
294 and 16 is 305. So it's 11 points away, which is basically like a 5th round pick.
Okay, throw in. We'll do 30, 56, and we'll throw in an early. It's either early 5 or late 4. That might be a late 4. 30, 56, 132 for 16.
Deal.
Let's do that. And let's get Jahdae Barron. Let's get Jahdae Barron to the Buffalo Bills.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
In on it. Zone corner. Best zone corner in college football last year. Heavy zone defense with a desperate need for another corner on the outside. I'm playing him on the outside in Buffalo. We've got Christian Benford, who just got paid.
Yep.
We've got Taron Johnson in the slot. We've got Jahdae Barron outside. This is the type of impact player I need in Buffalo. If I'm really trying to win a Super Bowl in Buffalo, I need this type of player. I need to make a bold. I think they need to get bold.
Hell yeah.
And make a move like that.
All right, Donnie with an awesome move there, making a trade for Buffalo, getting Jahdae Barron. If you're a fan of a team as well and you think we should be doing something for your team, let us know in the chat below, because I'm sure, listen, you guys are diehard fans of your favorite teams. Dalton and I have to cover every single team in college football and the NFL. You probably know your teams inside and out better than we do, honestly. So let us know in the chat if you think you have a fun proposal for us and what you think your team's going to do in the draft. We've got about 30 people watching right now, so see if we can get more people in the chat helping us out here. 17 overall, though, the Cincinnati Bengals on the clock. Quinn's Cincinnati Bengals, Eli's, of course, as well. What do you think we're going to do here?
I don't know if the audience can hear him, but does Quinn have a suggestion back there? Does he want?
We don't have the.
Well, we don't have Min, obviously.
IFBs,
they might not. But is it Walter Nolan? Is it a Mike Green? Is it Shahad Campbell? I mean, there's options. It feels like it's going to be a defensive player. There was also somebody on the NFL show in the chat this morning that suggested a Bengals trade down and get more picks and figure it out later.
Quinn, what do you think? I heard the mic come on.
Yeah, sorry, we were having problems with it back here. We took Walter Nolan earlier today.
Walter Nolan?
We did do Walter Nolan, but we did it with a trade down to 25. I had the Texans earlier trading up to get Josh Simmons.
Michael?
There was a report. It was Todd McShay was on, I forget the podcast, so apologies. I want to give credit where credit is due, but he said that the Bengals would be willing to overlook the character concerns with Nolan, Mike Green, and James Pierce Jr. So I don't know if that throws a wrinkle in it at all.
I think Green goes above Pierce.
I do agree. Should we just take Green here and go edge this time?
You could do Green.
I did a trade down to Nolan this morning, but maybe Mike Green's definitely an option.
Someone did tweet that people are too low. Like an insider is saying people are mocking Michael Williams way too low. He's gonna be going higher than people.
Could be Michael. He could just make a talent play here. That's also an option.
I think Michael might go above Green.
He would fit he would fit what they look for in edge traditionally.
Let's do it. Let's take Michael Williams.
Michael Williams.
Because I think there are times when I've been dropping him to the late 20s and early 30s too often, but you're right. He's probably going top 20 to 25.
Yeah.
Michael Williams to Cincinnati.
Michael Williams.
All we know with the Bengals is they're taking a defensive player.
At least he should.
I don't know what. Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, Colson Loveland sitting there.
Colson Loveland, Calvin Banks.
Get fun. Just take Luther Burden for the fun of it. I don't know. But no, it'll most likely be a defensive player. We'll go with Michael Williams. We'll go with that. Get a run stopper off the edge. That works.
All right, okay. Seattle.
Well done, Quinn.
At number 18 overall. I feel like this might be Grace Abel, right?
They going this high? You're going to pass on a Mike Green?
Dude, their interior is so freaking bad.
It is, but I've said, too, that Seattle doesn't need to force it here necessarily at 18. Starks?
Could do. All right, if we're not going interior, I do think it'll be probably Mike Green.
Think we'll go with the edge player route here?
So if you don't think it's going to be Grace Abel, I think it's between Zabel and Mike Green for me.
I would wait. I would wait, and they can still maneuver from 50 or 52 in the second round, or maybe even get into the back end of the first round again if Zabel is still there. I don't know that I'd force it at 18 because day 2 is a sweet spot for interior.
Okay.
When we talk about the Georgia guys.
Mike Green.
Donovan Jackson could be an option later. Mike Green is fine. They brought in DeMarcus Lawrence. When healthy, a really good run defender. Maffei's got good size to him. Green's a nice change-up in that edge group, and then they got a dangerous defensive line.
Yep, definitely. All right, Mike Green going 18 to Seattle. I think this is Jahad Campbell here, 19 to Tampa Bay.
Agreed.
I think it's they only have Levante David on a 1-year deal right now. Who knows if it'll be in Tampa Bay after that. And regardless, they need to find the future at linebacker after Levante David. They don't have much else in that room right now, and I think Jahad Campbell's probably going to be going somewhere in the top 20. So I think Jahad Campbell makes a lot of sense for Tampa Bay, number 19 overall. And Trevor Sikkema has some sources close to Tampa Bay, and he said that they love Jahad Campbell. So I think this is
as well they should. I think it'd be I think him or Starks or Ezeraku would all be fantastic picks. But to finally get a real succession plan to Levante David whenever he's done, I think Campbell's perfect. They had very, very bad struggles over the middle of the field in coverage. Campbell solves that problem with his athleticism. I love that.
Love it. All right, Denver here at number 20 overall.
I know we've talked receiver a lot for them. The last week or two, I do feel like this is going to be Amarion Hampton. It sure sounds like Hampton's going first round, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and
he's going first round.
It feels like Denver's the ideal spot. Behind that offensive line, they struggle to create yards after contact. Yards before contact is no issue. Quinn Miners and those guys up front, they're mauling people, but they need a back who can get them that extra. And I know Sean Payton's talked about jokers and mismatches and everything he wants in his offense. He can find those on the outside later in this draft. Mm-hmm. He also always has a workhorse back in his offense, and he doesn't have that right now. There are other ones. This could be maybe wait until round 2. Quinshon Judkins, Cam Scadaboo. I think if Colson Loveland was here to go along with Evan Ingram, that would be perfect, but he's not. I think Hampton's going first round, and I really think Denver is where I start thinking about that. I don't think he's going anywhere ahead of Denver when there was a mock about going 12th or anywhere. I just think Denver's the first spot to me that makes some sense if you're doing this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think Amarion Hampton's going in the first round. And I think the most likely landing spot is probably the Broncos, number 20 overall. So I love that Amarion Hampton going number 20 to the Broncos. I don't think there's been a lot of talk recently about 3 running backs in the first round. I don't think we're going to get Travion Henderson in the first round.
I don't think Travion. The only team maybe would be the Chiefs at 31, but I would wait on that. I don't think Caleb Johnson's going first round.
No.
I think it's these two guys. and then you might get a run somewhere either in the second or very early in the third round. There will be a run of the next tier of them. But I think these two guys it sounds like they're going to go first.
And just the fact that this running back class is so good, I mean, there's got to be a point where teams go, hey, we'd rather take a first-round pick on Trayvon Henderson, or we'd rather wait till the second or third round and get someone else that's almost just as good as Trayvon Henderson.
There's so many of them.
That's even the conversation I'm having personally with Amari Hampton. Like, I don't know if I want to take Amari Hampton in the first round because there's so many guys on day 2 I could take.
I just think from everything we've heard the last 2-3 weeks, he's going to go somewhere in this range.
No, I'm with you. In what I would do, I would not take Amari Hampton here because I just think the value on day 2 or even day 3 is much better than Hampton in the first round. But in terms of predicted mock draft, I do think he's going in the first round, so I like that pick there.
All right, here's the fun one.
He's got to be a quarterback.
I
have no answer right now.
I think it's almost surefire they're taking a quarterback at 21. Their problem, the Steelers' real problem, is they don't have a ton of capital. They gave up their second-round pick for DK Metcalf. I don't think people are going to be waiting for them to try to trade up. They're not in position to trade up. Mm-hmm. If they trade up, they're giving up next year's draft is what they're doing, and I don't think they're inclined to do that. I think they're just going to wait and see what happens.
And I think they like Milroe and Dart enough that they're willing to stay here at 21.
If I was
one of them will be
if I was taking a shot in the dark right now on this pick, I think it's Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
And for as much as I don't think he should be a week 1 starter. I don't know that he's ready to throw from the pocket at an NFL level like that. Hell, he's the one going to the draft, and Dart isn't all of a sudden. Not that that means a whole lot, but also, everyone's raved about Milroe's character. They've raved, obviously, the physical talent. I get it. He is the most physically gifted quarterback in this class, and this was Trevor's idea about putting him QB3 on his board was if you're not going to have the polish and knowing, like Cam and maybe Shador, hey, this guy he can play quarterback at an NFL level, then you take the guy with the freak tools. And, just like even, Chris Collinsworth mentioned to us, look, Mike Tomlin looks at Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels and all these guys. You have to deal with Josh Allen in the NFL. You have that level of athlete at quarterback. That causes a different problem. They're still going to want to run. I think in offense, this is the offense, and this is how they ran it last year. They're going to try to run the ball, get this O-line healthy, and run it. And they're going to throw it over the top.
Yep.
No, it's not going to be. You're not going to get a whole bunch of. You're not going to get mesh and 6-yard curls all day in this. No, they're going to try to hit home runs. They're going to hit singles on the ground, and they're going to try to hit home runs with Metcalf and Pickens over the top. I think with the athleticism he adds there, and if it was me, I would add a back on day 2 or early in day 3 also to his backfield along with Warren and Gainwell. I think that's how they would want to run this offense. I think it would be Milroe.
Yeah, let's go with Milroe here too. Colin Cowherd even said he talked to a high-level NFL exec, and he said the Steelers would take him at number 21 overall if he's there. Now, of course, it's just Colin Cowherd in one source he's got, but I do think the Steelers really like Jalen Milroe.
I think at this point, it just feels like this is going to be a quarterback, whether it's to the detriment of their board and best player available or not. They have nothing, and it's sure that now it just doesn't seem like it's going to be.
And I do think Mike Tomlin's streak of winning seasons, he does care about that, and they're not going to continue that streak next year with Mason Rudolph. I can tell you that right now. Or Skylar Thompson.
And it sure feels like it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers at this point.
Yeah,
he hasn't signed by now. We have to assume he's just not going to.
Yeah.
And even then, well, you're already missing into OTAs and things like that. I mean, does Aaron Rodgers, we have to just consider not relevant to the situation at this point.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, number 22 overall, the Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock here. This one's a little interesting. So Loveland's off the board already. So is Warren, obviously, too. So the tight end is not an option anymore for Los Angeles. Maybe a D tackle here. Maybe you go with one of the receivers, like Matthew Golden is still available here. I think that's an option as well. That's probably where I'm leaning right now, honestly, for Los Angeles. Maybe Derek Harmon.
Kenneth Grant. Jim's guy, Harbaugh's guy is sitting right there, too, and Kenneth Grant.
I'm between Kenneth Grant and let's go with Kenneth Grant because I think that the Michigan connection does matter. But I'm between him and Matthew Golden. I think Matthew Golden's going to be going.
I think it definitely matters. I just, Jim Hart. What is it? Gift from the football gods, right?
Yeah, that's what he called him and Mason Graham. And Mason Graham's not available at 22.
Well, I'm sure if he could have them both, he would. But maybe he trades up for Mason Graham. Who knows? But no, I mean, Kenneth Grant, the connection, what you can do replacing the production they had in the A-gaps, how good Poona Ford was last year, and now he's gone to the Rams. I think, look, there's multiple ways they could go if Loveland was there, if they like one of these receivers enough. But Kenneth Grant fills the need for him, and this team wants to still be really physical.
Yeah, all right. Love it. And then I think we should, do the opposite here for Green Bay. Take Matthew Golden. I know they don't take receivers in the first round, but I think he's going to go somewhere around this range, and I just don't think they'll pass him up for someone else, I think, in this spot either.
I'll tell you what, and because of that factor, they haven't done it in 23 years. To me, the Packers are one of the hardest teams to predict.
Oh, my God.
I really have no idea what the Green Bay Packers are going to do. And it's going to make it fun because they've got home field in this draft, right? I mean, it's the draft is in Green Bay, so even maybe their fans don't even know what they're going to do. But they're every time we get to the Packers, I think they're one of the hardest teams for me to predict.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Golden?
I feel Golden.
Golden's going to go.
Break the streak. Let's break the streak. I think he's going to go somewhere top 25.
Break the streak with Matthew Golden. Okay?
I think we trade down here from Minnesota.
Yep.
They only have 4 picks in the draft, and the next pick after this is 97 overall.
I want you to pull up the chart for me because here's the move we're talking.
We're talking Dart here for the Saints.
Yeah,
that's what I was
40 plus. How am I getting from 40 to 24?
All right, hold on.
And Mickey Loomis is going to be ultra aggressive because he always is. So if you're talking about it's going to cost something next year, he's going to do it. He's got a long history of making these types of trades to get the guys that he wants. So
it's about a 88-point difference, which is about a late second-round pick.
Okay, so
do you think it's both 40 and next year's second?
It's either that or he gives 71 and maybe one of these day 3 picks.
True.
71 and like 184. Is that close enough?
Sorry, 70 and 184. 71 and 184.
And the Vikings then picking at 47.
It's still a 13-point difference. Still 13 down.
Or is it 130 to go 131 instead of 184? Is that close
Very
enough?
close, yeah. It's basically even.
Do about that. 40, 71, and 131.
Yep.
Let's lock that in. Lock that in. This is how the Saints get super uber aggressive.
And they apparently, according to Adam Schefter, they love Jackson Dart. So,
well, when Mickey Loomis loves a guy and the Saints love a guy in the draft, they've shown it for years. They're going to go get him. I mean,
40, 71, and what? 131? You said?
Yes.
Okay.
And at that point, the Vikings getting 40 and 71 and then picking at 97, I think there's a lot of targets in that range for them that they can get.
And that fixes the Vikings' problem of not having any picks.
Yeah, if they want a Caleb Johnson or a back to go with Aaron Jones, I know they have Jordan Mason too. If they want another back, if they want D tackle, if they want depth in the secondary, they can find that with 3 day 2 picks. I love that trade for the Vikings. And, well, here we go. That's the Saints. The Saints get their guy.
Yep. All right, Saints number 24 overall. Dalton and I probably wouldn't do that, but I mean, New Orleans apparently is in love with Jackson Dart. So in a predicted mock draft, that's what we're going to be doing here. 25 overall, the Houston Texans are on the clock. I tend to think with the way that, Igbuka and Burden are trending down recently, I still think this is most likely Josh Simmons here at 25.
This is tough because again, I if it was me, you want me to be honest with you with the board the way it is, I think I would take Walter Nolan.
Yeah, and I don't hate that. I would probably do the same thing, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
Boy, we've got Walter Nolan sliding a little bit here.
I think Trevor is way, way higher on Walter Nolan than
consensus. He's in the 20s.
He's at 29. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Walter Nolan's gonna be a steal.
Hold up
for
now.
someone.
Well, we might have another conversation with Donnie here in a minute, but
that's who Donnie wanted at 16. If he gets him at 30, it's like, dude.
You might. We'll see if we don't ruin it, but we might.
Yeah. Donnie goes, keep having him sliding. He goes in all caps.
I think you're probably right here with the Texans, though. This is going to be. I think it's either Simmons or Ibuka. I think it's one of the two.
I think Simmons goes above Ibuka.
And you think Simmons?
And I think they're going to be so desperate to prove that they were willing to do something on O-line that they're going to take Simmons here.
Now, again, I don't think they should be locked into this. They shouldn't take an O-lineman. If they have conviction and Simmons is their guy, cool. Don't be shocked if they don't do it, though.
No.
At all. Because they have needs
I
at
won't
receiver.
Be shocked,
they have D-tackle needs. They have receiver needs. If the board was like this, I would probably take Nolan. I'll be honest with you.
So would I. But I just think Simmons is going to go higher than Nolan, and I think Simmons is a guy they're going to be all over. So
Josh Simmons.
After trading away Larry Tunsil. So,
25.
yeah. Josh Simmons going to the Texans. Got the Los Angeles Rams here. This would have been an interesting trade-up team for Loveland or Warren because of how desperate McVay was. But I think
I find this to be an interesting trade-down team also because they don't pick again until number 90. And maybe just getting another handful of assets here might help them because I don't
know who I would take for them either.
Right. I don't think there's an ideal fit here.
Like maybe Hairston.
Maybe.
That's why I'd probably lean if they stick here, is who I would probably lean. Because they need a corner, and he fits that zone defense very well. I probably wouldn't take him this high, but I think he's going to go somewhere in the first round.
You want to get real fun? I have a fun one.
Someone trading up?
Oh, wait. Oh, do I want... no, I'm going to ruin Donnie's day. But I got an idea. The Giants, with that extra capital they got just 45 minutes ago that we did earlier.
Trade up to L.A.
Trade up here. Donnie, I might have to hurt you here on this one. I might have to hurt you. I might have to do it because there's an idea in my head that says get the Giants up here to take Walter Nolan.
Okay.
Get Dexter
So
to get Dexter Lawrence with him.
Let's see.
Oh, I'm in on that.
I kind of like that.
30 go from 34 to 26.
Now here's the thing. On the consensus board, which I know is not the end all be all, but Derek Harmon's 23, Walter Nolan's 29. Who do we think the Giants would prefer? Because it seems like most people are higher on Harmon than they are on Nolan.
Well, because Harmon's a more proven pass rusher.
So that's the thing. Is it Harmon or is it Nolan for New York?
Oh. All right, so trade up and take Harmon and keep Donnie happy and get Nolan to the Cardinals. Might do it.
So what would it be? So it would be...
You're like the third host today, man. Nice job.
Donnie, yeah, exactly.
Killing it with these trades. Love it.
223.
Trade up to get Harmon. We could do that. We could do Harmon.
It's about 48. So if it's 34, right? They're giving up 34, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So 34 and
74, 99,
34. Oh, they have 74 now too.
Yeah, they have 74 now. Carolina's 74.
Okay, wait a minute.
From before. Trade down, trade up, do a little what the Arizona Cardinals did with Paris Johnson.
Points, they're down. It would be a little bit of an overpay if they did 74 as well. They could do 34, 99, and 154. It's almost dead on.
Let's do that.
34,
99, 154. Okay.
Yep.
And let's get the Giants. We'll get him Derek Harmon to go with Dexter Lawrence. They want a pass rusher. You got one. You got the guy that led the nation in pressures last year on the inside. Let's have some fun. I do like the trade down there for the Rams. I like that because I think it's an underrated part, this big gap that they have between the first-round pick.
You're right.
And if Loveland's not here, I'm in on the Rams getting more pick. I know it's not usually Les Snead style all in picks, but
no, you're right. You're totally right. They don't have any picks really. That's a good call. All right, Giants, Derek Harmon. Love that.
Derek Harmon. Ravens. Gordon, he was talking about the Ravens this morning. He wants an edge player. He wants one of these edge guys.
Okay.
Are we indulging? Because he was saying
he probably wants David Walker, knowing him. He loves David Walker.
He might take him later anyway, even if he took one first round. He was saying this morning the three names are Shamar Stewart, Nick Scorton, Donovan Ezeraku. I like Ezeraku the most of those three. I think you like Scort. You have Scorton?
Pierce is still here.
He did not mention James Pierce.
I think Pierce is going above those guys still.
Oh. All right, we're going James Pierce. They need pressure.
Pierce is most often mocked to the Ravens, too. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, is he?
I didn't even know that.
Pierce, and then Pierce by a wide margin. Are we letting the mock sim users do it?
We can do the mocks, yeah.
Mock sim user pick, Baltimore Ravens, James Pierce Jr.
My guy.
Well
top
done.
10 player for me. Man, we still have, what's his name? We still have Malachi slipping here.
Sure.
We get him in the first round?
I think we can. Oh, there's a couple of spots still we could.
That could have been a Raven right there too. Malachi.
Sure could have. No, give the fans a pick. Give the Mock Sim users a pick for the Mock Sim faithfuls.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think this is another edge, probably right for Detroit.
For me, this would be Ezeraku. If we're going edge,
I would agree with that.
Ezeraku.
Yep, Donovan Ezeraku.
In on it. Okay,
love it. I think that's what I would do too.
All right. Before we do a Commander's pick here. Are there any trade down scenarios that we like for the Commanders? Because they only have 5 picks total because it's the Tunsil trade. I would not hate, and I know we haven't mentioned Nicky Manwari yet.
Does someone trade up for Walter Nolan to get ahead of Arizona here?
Ooh.
Does someone...
Boy, we are just playing with Donnie's emotions right now.
Does someone trade up for Malachi Starks, who's still here? Those are the two I'm really looking at that are slipping on our mock right now.
I sit here and think does somebody trade up for Luther Burden?
Could see that.
Because I don't think we've done this before, but I actually don't think it'll be Tennessee because they don't have a lot of picks either. I think they'll wait and see if he gets to them.
Mm-hmm.
Who would like a Luther Burden?
Could be Burden, Starks.
Oh, no, I have a trade.
Huh?
I have a trade. All right, yep, sorry, Donnie, I'm messing with your emotions. Bears. Pull up the Bears.
Oh, Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pull up the Bears. Because what'd you go with the first pick? Tyler Warren?
Yep.
Yeah, pull up the Bears. 39-29.
That would be, how big of a difference is that? 153. It's about a 56-point difference, which, let's see.
Is that
A lot of math on this show.
Is that going to cost me 72?
That'd be a little bit of an overpay. That's all you can really do, though, unless you want to do next year's pick.
All right, we're going to do this. 39.
Or we're going to do 41 and 72. That might be a little better.
41 and 72. Yeah, but then they're not picking again until 148. Do this. 39, 148, third round pick next year.
Yeah, that could work.
Because the Commanders also are short on capital next year because of the Tunzel trade. They give up 4 picks in that trade.
Mm-hmm.
Recoup some of that. 39, 148, round 3 next year. That might work?
Yeah.
Or I could keep one. No, because they're not going to do. They want something this year. 148 is at least useful.
Yeah, 166. Sorry, I'm just doing the math in my head. About 36 points. Yeah, that would be like a late third round pick. So you could do like a third rounder next year because you had to imagine too, like when you're trading next year's pick, it's always a little discounted.
A little bit less. And yeah, so 148 and a third rounder next year.
Yeah,
let's do that. And I'm going to break Donnie's heart here and take one.
Okay, what about Donnie's begging for Malachi Starks here? I don't think they would do it. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think more likely could be a corner. I think it could be a corner. I think it could be Tyler Booker. Wouldn't obviously not a linebacker. I don't think it's Starks. I think the Cardinals should feel good about where they're at safety and in the slot.
No, I'm talking about, you said the Bears.
No, the Bears, I'm taking Nolan. It's Walter Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did that for Walter Nolan.
Sorry, 39. Yeah. What was the other?
39, 148, and a third next year.
That's it.
Oh, no, I did that with the idea of the Bears getting Walter Nolan. Because now, look at their draft. In the first round, they got Tyler Warren and Walter Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. That's what I'm talking about with the Bears and their D-tackle situation. They get a guy like Nolan, we're flying now.
All right.
That's a different animal.
Donnie, what do you want here? I'll let you make this pick, Donnie.
Do you want a receiver?
You said you're now my second favorite host, Dalton.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I figured as much anyway. Don't worry.
Bird? Brandon, before Donnie gets our answer there, Brandon Ryback asking, how would you feel about a Rodgers signing and then a Sam Howell / Will Levis late round pick trade to help the Steelers for the near future? I don't like them putting their eggs in the basket from this class. I don't hate that either, considering I don't think either Milroe or Dart is long-term answer.
That assumes Rodgers is actually going to sign. If Rodgers signs, then I think you have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
But we're 3 days from the draft, and Rodgers hasn't signed.
Yeah.
And there's no indication that he's going to. So, look, I'm with you. It's not the ideal scenario, for darn sure. And I don't know that they would trade for Howell or somebody like that with already signing Rudolph. I think it would just be Rodgers and Rudolph, and maybe they mess around with a day 3 pick. But at this point, they're stuck. They have played their hand this offseason about as badly as they could have at this position.
Okay, so Donnie's saying Nick Scorton. I want to throw out, before we make that pick, Maxwell Hairston. I think corner's a bigger need right now than edge. And I think he fits that zone defense.
He does.
And I think he might go above Scorton.
I could see this pick being Hairston. I could see this pick being Tyler Booker. I think the Cardinals have poured.
Booker actually does really fit Arizona.
He does.
Because they run more gap than any team in the NFL.
Yeah. And I still think there's a pretty decent chance he's going first. We got a lot of borderline first-round guys here who make sense. Now, I like Trey Amos better than Hairston, but I get the fit with Hairston. Hairston makes some sense.
I kind of like Booker here.
Tyler Booker?
Yeah, I think he fits.
He does fit here. This would be one of the best places for him to get to.
Yeah. All right, we'll do it.
We're doing it. We're doing Tyler Booker.
Sorry, Donnie.
I know. I stole Walter Nolan.
He goes, all right, I wouldn't mind Booker. Okay.
I stole Walter Nolan from you. Now, I do want to say this with Booker. If I'm the Cardinals, I don't want to take him at 16.
No.
This is a spot where I get him at 30, or if they get him in the second round, I'm in.
It's more digestible at 30.
But I'm not taking him at 16. So that's a different animal. All right, Chiefs.
Zabel.
Booker would have been a call.
Zabel's still here.
Zabel is here. I don't think the more we were even hearing this morning that the Chiefs aren't the biggest fans of Connerly, probably not enough to take him at 31. Or you get wild on us because you know how the Chiefs are. Usually they do this on day 3. Could they take Starks to replace Justin? Justin Reed.
I was just gonna say Starks.
Just the value of it.
I think he's going. I would feel really bad if we go an entire first round with Malachi Starks falling.
I mean, he could go to Philly too. I know Trevor drives the Sidney Brown bandwagon.
No, I really like Malachi Starks here to Kansas City.
Get a little different. We've been making so many trench picks. Okay.
Replace
Justin Reed. We still have Connor. Keep that depth. I know they're always getting day 3 guys in the secondary. It's kind of a Brett Veach special. But Starks is pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Love that. All right, final pick here. Philadelphia.
All right.
What does Howie do?
Is it Emanwari? Is it a D lineman? Is it Luther Burden?
I would go with Emanwari here.
Would you?
I personally would not. Like if I was Howie, I would not do it. But in terms of what I think will happen is what I think Emanwari is. Is another guy I think is more likely to go in the first round than a lot of the other guys that we have.
Combine will get you.
Yeah.
Emanwari. Yeah, I mean, for the sake of Emanwari very well still could go in the first round. This is a possibility. And this is at least a defense where maybe
they kind of just still need a box safety.
They can hide him. Well, they can hide him with all the 2 high looks.
And
because
Gardner-Johnson's gone now, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want him playing 1 high. All right, fine. We'll back-to-back safeties to end it.
Good.
I
want to get both those guys in there.
Okay.
So
right, we got him.
Final mock draft of the year is also the
we had some trades.
One of the most trades we've ever done in a mock draft too. Listen, every single team in the NFL draft currently has their first round pick. That will not happen on draft night. Like I said, there's been 24 straight drafts where a top 15 pick has been traded. This is the first draft ever, unless something happens between now and Thursday night. This will be the first draft ever where every single team holds their original first round pick entering the draft. So there should be a lot of trades on draft night. Don't think it'll be a very straightforward draft considering how wide open this class is. Let's recap it for our audio-only listeners, though. We got Cam Ward to the Titans, Travis Hunter to the Browns, Abdul Carter to the Panthers, who traded up from number 8 overall to number 3 overall. Will Campbell to the Patriots, Mason Graham to the Jaguars, Ashton Ginty to the Raiders, Armand Membu to the Jets, Shador Sanders to the Giants at number 8, who traded down from number 3, Calvin Banks to the Saints, Tyler Warren to the Bears, Shamar Stewart to the 49ers, Tedero McMillan to the Cowboys, Will Johnson to the Dolphins, Colson Loveland to the Colts, Jalen Walker to the Falcons, Jahdae Barron to the Bills, who traded up from number 30 to number 16, Micah Williams to the Bengals, Mike Green to the Seahawks, Jahad Campbell to the Buccaneers, Amarian Hampton to the Broncos, Jalen Milroe to the Steelers, Kenneth Grant to the Chargers, Matthew Golden to the Packers, Jackson Dart to the Saints, who traded up with Minnesota to number 24, Josh Simmons to the Texans. We got Derek Harmon to the Giants, trade up with the Rams at number 26, James Pierce Jr. at 27 to the Ravens, Donovan Zarako to the Lions, Walter Nolan to the Bears, who traded up with the Commanders at number 29, Tyler Booker to the Cardinals at number 30, who traded down from 16, and then Malachi Starks to the Chiefs, and Nicky Manwari to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Put every bet in on what we just did, 100%, right?
Yeah,
billionaire. We've never been more right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be an incredible odds on that one. But our final mock draft for the 2025 NFL Draft, man, pretty insane.
Yeah.
Also, our final episode before the 2025 NFL Draft. We will not be going live on Thursday night on this channel. We will be going live on the PFF NFL show channel, so go subscribe to that. It'll be me, it'll be Dalton, it'll be Trevor Sikkema, and the boss man himself, Chris Collinsworth, will be live round 1 for the 2025 NFL Draft. You can watch it on the PFF YouTube channel. You could watch it on Fubo. You could watch it on the PFF Twitter account if you want to watch it as well. We'll be live on Thursday night breaking down every single pick as it happens. I think at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time we're starting our live live stream. The next day, it'll be me, it'll be Dalton, it'll be Trevor for round 2 and round 3 of the NFL draft. And the day after that, it'll be me, Dalton, and Trevor for rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. Every single one of the 257 picks in the 2025 NFL draft will be breaking down live on the PFF YouTube channel. And if that's not enough for you guys, on Sunday, we'll be going live, me, Dalton, and Trevor, to break down every single team's draft class in the 2025 NFL draft. And if that's not freaking enough for you guys, we've got a way too early 2026 NFL mock draft that will be going live on this channel as well. So Dalton, is simultaneously for us hell week in terms of how much work we're going to be doing, but also the best week of the year because of how much fun we're going to have this week.
I'm just glad it's finally here. I'm sick of speculating. I'm sick of rumors. I'm sick of all these different crazy conspiracy theories. Let's just get there and start to analyze what actually happens in front of us.
Oh, cannot wait. I cannot wait for Thursday night. Again, it's our final show, unfortunately, before the draft. We'll be going live on Sunday, though, afterwards with our way too early mock draft. But subscribe to the PFF YouTube, though, because Dalton and I will be there for all 4 days, if you want to call it that, for the 2025 NFL draft. Our producers back there, and Tyler and Quinn, and of course Eli as well. For Dalton Wassman, I'm Max Chadwick. We'll see you guys live on Thursday night for the first round of the 2025 NFL draft.